Okay.
Because you can't do it yourself.
All right. And that's what we're here for.
Yes.
Do you have any special messages for people out there, in our audience, who would like you to tell them personally that if they are drug addicts, how to get out of it?
Well, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is clear, and Islam offered that from the very beginning, that the only way out is with the help of God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's there for you. If you turn to Him sincerely and ask for His help, then He will help you, but you have to be sincere about it. And then you have to take steps. Of course, it has to be two aspects. There's the one of the faith, where one links with God for His help, and then the other hand, one has to take definite and clear steps to end the addiction. But one has to know that it's possible. It's not, though one might feel that you can't give it up, etc., but you must know that God, Allah, has not prescribed or put you in any situation which you cannot handle. So you are capable. You have to go back to that famous saying, I can do it. It's just a question of how and when. So we need to get back to the hows and the whens and go ahead and do it.
Now, you've personally seen some of this happening, in the sense that, obviously you lived in different parts of the world, and you've seen this, drugs and alcohol. Which do you think is the greater problem, drugs or alcohol?
Well, I think they're both. The impact of alcohol is probably greater. There's greater damage in the society worldwide. Drugs, because alcohol is a drug. So when we say drugs and alcohol, we're really taking alcohol out of the category of drugs.
Isn't there a subtle difference? Like, one is very much underground and the other one is openly advertised.
Yeah, this is the problem. Because by people making that distinction between drugs and alcohol, it's like alcohol is the drug which is okay, but we just need to control it. But
okay.
Yeah, but is it really? It falls together in the same bag. It is something which Islam prohibited 1,400 years ago without any recourse. There's no exception in here. We don't have what they call we could say socially acceptable social drinking, for example. No.
The term exists.
The term exists, but from an Islamic perspective, it is definitely out, because the evil of alcohol and drugs in general is so great that Islam forbade it outright.
Exactly. So looking for a solution, you said it can be solved at the school level with the national curriculum and so on. What role do parents play, you think?
Well, of course, education of parents through the television, programs which can give them a better understanding of the roots of the problem and understand, their own religion in itself, and give them guidance as to how to handle it. Because of course, oftentimes parents who find their children addicted don't know how to respond. It's, what do you do? This person is caught up in this way, and oftentimes the reaction is violent, or and it doesn't make it any better, it just makes it worse.
Exactly.
There needs to be drug rehabilitation programs which are firmly in place, bringing in people who are trained. And this is where I even suggested to some who mentioned this to me, that there are people in America, Muslims, who work in the prisons and work in drug rehabilitation, who can come and be sensitive to the fact that this is a Muslim country, because bringing people who are involved in drug rehabilitation who have no consciousness about Islam, they may be introducing things which, on one hand it may be benefiting, on the other hand we may be also creating further harm.
Side effects of the pill, as it were.
Yes. So it is important that where they may rely more on counter drugs, methadone and these other things as a solution, where from an Islamic perspective we don't try to take them from one drug to another drug, we try to take them off the drug altogether. So differences in approach would require that we try to get experts who are from Islamic backgrounds, so that we have a culturally sensitive program. And then of course even on the highest levels, one has to now rethink and relook at, how drugs are handled, on a state level. This has to be looked at also. That perhaps they have to put more curbs, etc., to protect this society from its harm.
So it'll have to be a blanket thing, like nip them at the source, while at the same time make sure that you create less demand, perhaps.
And educate.
And that it all takes us back to the issue of our faith in our Creator. Everything.
Yes.
Basically. So that's it, whether it's drugs or any other problem.
Sure, social, otherwise. But we know that ultimately there is a solution, because Islam does have the solution for all of these problems. And that is the thing which attracted me most and made me want to become a Muslim, was the comprehensiveness of Islam, where nothing is left out. No aspect of human life is untouched by Islamic teachings.
My brother, you have touched all of us this evening. So thank you very much for having been with us. It's been a pleasure, and we have a great tradition in this country of welcoming our guests here. So once again, welcome to the Maldives, and thank you so much for having enlightened us this evening, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much.
My pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share. And Maldives has been very, very excellent hosts for me, and the welcome that I have received here, I can hardly find another country that has welcomed me as the Maldives has.
Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending some of your time with us this evening. Hope to see you next week. My name is Waheed. See you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.